Hi there, friends. Welcome back to Spiritual Realism, honest and joyful explorations of ideas to help us connect with our true purpose and live our most beautiful and authentic lives. I am your host, Jacqueline Clare, Mermaid of the Airwaves, here to take your hand and go on some deep dives together. And today is a very special episode. I'm interviewing my friend Sima, who is an inner peace therapist. She works in this modality that's inspired by the mystical writings of the Baha'i Faith, and it's a way to learn to process life so that we live with inner peace, where we integrate our inner child and our inner parent, and where we are able to truly be the kings and queens of our own castle, our own inner sanctum. And it was just a really sweet interview. And I think that you will leave with some wonderful inspiration about how your own life can be enriched. I hope you enjoy. Hi, Seema. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is
Yeah,
lovely.
my pleasure. Well, I mentioned in the introduction that you are an inner peace therapist and you have these interesting modalities that you have co created. And before we get into that, which we definitely will, I was hoping you could share with us a little bit about your background. I know you have a very interesting
Sure.
multinational history, but also if you could highlight specifically some of the points along your journey that you feel really led you to where you are now and what you're practicing now?
Yeah, absolutely. I was in my teenage years when I used to live in Iran. I was born in Iran, and I grew up in a beautiful family that my mom was a revolutionary woman, so she investigated the faith herself, and my father also, he was a Baha'i, but my mom wasn't. But so growing up in that family, always I felt that I need to constantly learn, but it wasn't clear that what am I learning? Is it what I'm learning is important, or is that actually the process of learning? Because when you're 15, you don't understand those things. And when all the things happened in Iran, the revolution and changing government and everything just went totally under, all the Baha'is were under persecutions. And so it just left me with this question: what is truth? What is reality? What is the truth? And thinking about that, so that helped me to understand that I do want to believe in a religion. I do want to believe in God. But what is the true reality? What's the true religion? Was a little bit vague for me. So I started investigating and understanding a little bit more and believing that I do want to follow a religion. So I became a Baha'i, but we escaped the country, and because I wasn't able to leave the country legally. And staying in Pakistan for a year and also taught me so much about, again, uh, what's the concept of unity? Is it the unity that's something that externally we're seeking, or is the unity something internally we're seeking? Because no matter how far we want to find that unity outside in this world, we achieve it. We reach our points, but it's not the true unity. And that again brought me, when I came to Canada, I start participating in a lot of activities and thinking about what is the truth, what is the foundation of humanity. And thinking about the truthfulness, I realized that I was in my late 20s, and I keep thinking it's like the whole world is crumbling for a reason. The whole world can't be united. It's just for one simple virtue, which is truthfulness. If we think about that one simple virtue, truthfulness, and how can we use that to find unity within oneself? How can I, one Sima, become true to my own self? And this was my journey finding and trying to go. I had did so many things in the school. First, I become a fashion designer, and then I went into psychology, and I went to Syracuse. I studied a dental hygiene course, and came back and followed that. I went back again to UFD and I started doing the life coach. And all this path was just taught me how much I love to learn. But loving to learn was not enough because it's not the material we're learning. It's the whole process of learning. Because what we learn, it's subjected to the time and our circumstances. But what is the most important thing is that arts of learning, that it always has to stay alive within oneself. And then when I learned that, and I found Mr. Iranian, who's the founder of Inner Peace, he has established this method in early 2000, and I just fell in love with it. And I said, okay, I need to know more about this because it incorporates the Baha'i writings, especially the hidden words, and also the seven valleys. So I said, okay, this is what I need to learn, especially going back again to when I was taking life coach, when I was at school. One of my professors mentioned something which was very interesting. I was constantly quoting the Baha'i writings, constantly. And then this professor, she stopped me in front of all the students. She said, Sima, Baha'i Faith is way ahead of us. You need to be patient with us. When she said that, it just did sparkle in my heart. I'm like, okay, I need to learn, but was this what I need to learn? Or do I need to actually go back and search and study the writings of Baha'u'llah? And that's where I found Mr. Iranian, and I fell in love with Inner Peace.
Oh, interesting. So you were training in life coaching when you realized maybe some of that energy was better directed towards studying the hidden words. Is that right? So interesting. Just to lay a little bit of groundwork, just in case anyone listening is not super familiar with the Baha'i Faith or the hidden words or any of that, I think it's important to note that you left Iran because of religious persecution. The Baha'i Faith is the largest minority faith in Iran and highly persecuted, and that's why you left. Was it 80 in the 80s when you left? Oh, Sina, all of a sudden I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go. Yeah, go ahead.
I left 1986
Mhm.
and I stayed in Pakistan for about 11 months. And I arrived May 12, 1987 in Canada.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. And your family was Baha'i, your father was, and then your mom became, it sounds like, and then you went through this process of investigating to decide whether it was the faith that you believed in or not. And then you also mentioned the hidden words and the seven valleys. Could you give just a little snippet on what those works are and why they're unique or significant in the Baha'i canon?
Um, the hidden words, when we look at the hidden words, the words are not hidden. And what's hidden is important because what's hidden,
Mm.
it brings us to the inner world. And there are 8 billion people in the world that do have beautiful meanings within oneself. And I think that when we study the hidden words and we look at the words and everyone search internally, it that search comes with a responsibility that we need to share what we feel with the world outside because that is part of the puzzle. If we don't, that's what's hidden. It has to be discovered, just like the beautiful gem in a pearl. Like that beautiful pearl has to be come outside, and everyone needs to see the beauty. If it's hidden, just like all of us do have that inner beauty, inner knowledge, inner power, inner love, that when we read those hidden words, what it happened to me when I listen, for example, when Baha'u'llah says, the best beloved of all things in my sight is justice. Turn not away therefrom if thou desirest me. So just for a moment, if we put our name instead of justice, put our own name on it. Say, the best beloved of all things in my sight is Jacqueline. Turn not away therefrom if thou desirest me, and neglect it not that I may confide in thee. By its aid thou shalt see with thy own eyes. not through the eyes of others. And thou shalt know with thy own knowledge, not through the knowledge of thy neighbor. And he goes further and says, ponder this in thy heart, how it behoveth thee to be. Verily, Jacqueline is my gift to thee, and the sign of my loving kindness. Set it down before thine eyes. So when all of us read this, so if I put my own name on it, and instead of thinking, okay, justice, I am that beautiful noble being that created by it, higher power, Baha'u'llah, and that's the one I need to seek. That's the one I need to get to know. That's the one I need to understand. When I get to know my own being, my own inner being, my own soul, I can understand what's my true reality, what's my true self. Because that self, that true self, is directly connected to the source.
Mm.
So I don't know if this answers your questions.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, that those virtues are latent within us. So
Mhm.
it's like uncovering those
Mhm.
qualities and virtues that God has already put in us.
Yes, absolutely. At the same time, when we look at the virtues, is a virtue is a result or an action. So all the virtues are the result of some actions.
Mm.
So I did not make a decision for those results. Those results are in me. But what I have is a power of will that helps me to understand, discover, or learn the actions will take me to those results. So if I believe that I am, let's say, for example, I am love, I'm kind, I have all those beautiful virtues in me, but I need to also know how to put them into practice.
Mm-hmm.
So if I am truthful, okay, what is a truthfulness and truthfulness looks like in this world?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I can keep telling my child, be truthful, because I can't tell it. Let's look at it in the physical world in a matter like, let's look at water. We did not decide if the water reaches the 100 degrees, turn to steam. And
Mm-hmm.
we did not decide if it reaches the 0 degree, turn to ice. Someone else already made that decision. But it's me that I'm holding the knob. I'm the one who can turn the temperature to the high or to low. But I need to know what are my steps are. So yes, absolutely. We are supposed to become those virtues, which is already in us.
Mm-hmm.
But in this world, it's just about, in this world, it's all those virtues. It means actions, constant actions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a great opening to share a little bit more in depth about what inner peace therapy
Mhm.
is and how it's practiced.
Sure, absolutely. Inner peace therapy, it consists of some unities. Like the first unity is uniting the right and the left hemisphere of the brain, which is
Okay.
we call it feelings and thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So just taking a step back, if you look at the humanity, we're all seeking inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us climb the highest mountain. Some of us, swim the deepest ocean or walk to the next, on the other side of the world, just because we are seeking something. But is this actually seeking inner peace, or this is something that is a shared illusion? I keep thinking is about um, what happens is can all the people in the world swim the deepest ocean, part of the ocean? Can this be universal? Can be something that it's practical? Can all of us do it? And then when we reach that, we say, oh, okay, all our problems has been solved. But when we look at it deeper, we see that inner peace is not something that I can seek outside. Inner peace is within myself. It's how I see the world. And the way I see the world is based on two things that I have in this world: my thoughts and my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts and my feelings are are given to me. They're two tools, or I can look at it as a two servants that God has given me to understand the external world through my thoughts and internal world through my feelings. So when the thought of, let's say, for example, when the thought comes that so and so did this, or a thought of anger comes, or a thought of comparison or expectations, or trying to resist or winning something, those thoughts are comes with the external power. When those thoughts comes, uh, what inner peace does is it allows the clients and everyone that to for a moment close their eyes and witness their thoughts. Allow those thoughts to come. Don't push it away. Allow those thoughts, because in the Baha'i writings, Abdul Baha says, when a thought of war comes, oppose it with a stronger thought of peace. The thought of hatred must be destroyed with a thought of stronger thought of love. So when the thought of a thought comes that says so and so did this, or a thought that is unwanted and it's unpleasant, right away, if I close my eyes and allow that thought comes and witness that thought and allow it to give me a message, it's like a postman or mailman. What do? They bring me a letter and they give me a mail, and they want in the mail. I haven't opened it yet, but what I do is I allow the mailman to give me the mail, but I do not bring the mailman in. I just grab the mail and I say, thank you. You're free to go. I got the mail. So when I got the mail, I open it and it says, so and so did this. And I said, okay, thank you very much. It does involve some tapping. So I witness my thoughts. I allow that thoughts give me the message. And then I say, thank you to that thought. And I will just let it go. No other conversation, because it's a servant. In inner peace, we realize that I'm the queen of this castle. No one should be stronger than me within me. No one. Because I'm the queen, and we have all noticed that and actually witnessed, if there is two kings in one country, what happens? There's always going to be a fight. But if I become the queen of this castle, I always be kind to my people. I would not force anything. I would be kind and loving and understanding, but I will make sure that no one is more powerful than I am. But I am connected to the source. I only have one real source that I call Baha'u'llah, that I'm connected to that. And that connection is only through the readings, the writing every morning and night. That connection is only through the saying my obligatory prayers, following the laws, and everything. That connection is there and has to be consistent. Because again, it takes us back to the power of will. Having the power of will, it could be very useful and it could be very dangerous. And in order to be able to control that power of the will by controlling our own thoughts and our feelings, and being connected to the writings every morning and night, and I can be truly myself.
You know, that's interesting to think of your witness as the queen of the castle or the king of the castle, and these thoughts are messengers. You know, it's like the thoughts they're like advisors, it seems like they come and bring messages and say, hey, you know, this person did this thing, you should attack their kingdom, right? They're trying to like goad you into certain actions or going deeper into those thoughts that have been delivered, you know, so and so did this. And my question is, if those thoughts are negative, right? So and so offended you, harmed you, has more than you, whatever those thoughts are, why do you say thank you to the messenger for bringing that?
That's a beautiful question. None of us give us any feelings.
Say that again?
Nobody gives us bad feelings. No one in this world harms us. No one breaks our hearts. No one disrespects us. Those are our own feelings. We're born with those feelings. It's just a matter, because as we grow up, we never pay attention to those feelings. We pay attention to outside. We connected our feelings to the things we saw. As Baha'u'llah says, this world is not but an illusion, it's but a show. It doesn't exist. So what I see outside is not real. But what I bring in is definitely real, because I need to understand, okay, for example, if someone is mean to me, what that person is awakening in me. Those feelings are important, not the person, what they said. Because again, going back to the writings of Baha'u'llah, my job is to forgive and not to see any faults of others. But what I need to know is, okay, when the thought of war comes, what does thought of war does to me? The thought of war right away creates a hormone. It makes a hormone. And that hormone is somewhere in my body. Is it in my throat, my chest, my stomach, somewhere. So if I pay all my attention and focus on those feelings, so okay, the guilt is here. Okay, I feel guilty. I said a lie yesterday. Where's guilt? Guilt is right here. So when I become friends with guilt, because I was born with it, it's my one of very good feelings. In inner peace, Mr. Iranian always says that guilt, shame, all these things are policing me. And I always go back myself. I always think about why do I have what do I need to have in order for me to bring myself to account each day? If I don't have guilt and shame, how can I bring myself to account each day? Those are the beautiful feelings that God has given to me, not to punish myself, just to use it as a tool. Oh, Sima, you weren't kind to so and so. You said something very hurtful. And then I will find the guilt. I free it. I'll be very grateful for that feelings. And I free that feelings. Sometimes they're stuck in my shoulder, they're my our throat, the stomach. It all depends to the person. And most women, because they've never been able to talk, most Middle Eastern women and some of my clients, that they weren't allowed to say anything. They all have issues in their throat.
Wow.
And some of them, because they've been rejected a lot, they have it in their chest. So it all depends. So when we feel those feelings, they realize people outside are nothing but delusion. It's not real. My feelings are real.
So it sounds like through the inner peace therapy, people ultimately leave with tools how to deal with thoughts in the future and so forth that arise.
Absolutely, because it's not about confirmation. So a lot of therapy people will attend. I myself, years and years ago, we adopted a daughter, so I had to go through some, therapy to understand. But it was all about confirmation, conforming that, oh, this child has this issue, or so and so has that issue, or so and so went through this, so and so went through that, which is fine. That's a good gaining knowledge. But what inner peace does, it helps with the transformation. It's not more about confirming or adjusting. It's about transforming and learning to become one. We're all learning and transforming. And then when I reach those, as you said, when I gain those tools, when I understand who am I truly, and I can forget about it. Just like, let's say, for example, if I tell you right now, Jacqueline, can you speak Spanish? But you haven't learned it yet. Say, oh, Sima, I don't know how to. I don't know. I said, okay, but if you learn it properly, you can let go, becomes your second nature. So we need to get to know ourselves. We need to learn and focus on our own thoughts and our own feelings and understand who we truly are. When we understand and learn to use these beautiful tools, we can, and then I can say, okay, I forget about myself. And I can just use those very naturally. And that's what inner peace does. It helps clients to understand themselves, the true identity, and then gain those beautiful tools. And then they can go forward with their lives and they can constantly use that in any situation, any circumstance.
That's so great. So let's say a client contacts you and says, I heard you on this podcast and I want to learn how to do this. And you've never met the person, you're just starting fresh. How briefly, like, what does that journey look like of them going through the basics of inner peace therapy with you?
Sure. That's usually what I do is I offer about 4 sessions. And then the first session, again, it's uniting the right and the left hemisphere of the brain. When that happens, when the mind gives up its power to the power of the heart, and that illuminated mind, the next step is that illuminated mind is going and finding the inner child. And next step. When this happens, when the mind and the child intertwine and they meet, that's the true love. And that's a second session. So each session is about 1 hour and I would say 15 minutes.
So I
And
have
the
a question. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question. So from what you said, so is it accurate that when you work on harmonizing or unifying the right and left hemispheres and right and left processes, that it helps to awaken the heart or let the heart lead? Is that kind of what you said?
it's yes, it is absolutely awakens the heart, but when we awaken the heart and the person within the first 25 minutes gives up the power. See, the mind, it's made
Mm.
to survive. The mind constantly fights, doesn't want to give up the power to the heart, wants to judge, wants to analyze, wants to compare, compete, expect. So, but it takes about 25 to 30 minutes to for the client to see, to learn to witness their thoughts. When they learn to witness their thoughts, and then through some actions that I do, I ask them to tap their forehead or roll their eyes. All these things helps for the mind to give up the power. When the mind becomes very relaxed and calm, gives up the power, and then the heart comes up. And then you see that beautiful light. You will witness that beautiful light, and you will see, all of us will see that our true identity. And that happens usually. I've had many clients, and the first 30 minutes, 35 minutes, maximum 35 minutes, they will actually see that. And the next session, we take this beautiful light to the heart to meet the inner child.
Mm-hmm. And tell me more about
And
what happens after that.
okay, so when these two meet, when the inner child um, has the right to feel whatever she feels, to think whatever she thinks. Every feeling she has, every thought she had all her life were through thoughts and through feelings. And when that been discovered and acknowledged, that if she felt shame one day, if she felt scared, if she was feeling lonely and vulnerable, all those beautiful feelings are true feelings. When that has been acknowledged and when these two meet and intertwine, and at that moment, after a true, again, process, a few minutes of connecting with the inner child, that what happens at that moment is clients, they realize what the true love is. Nothing is more important than that inner child. That is the gift of God. And my whole, as an inner peace therapist or someone that I have actually experienced this, when we reach that point, nothing else is important in this world. Just to making sure that child is happy. And the true happiness is I have to be constantly be aware of that child. Anything I do, that inner child should be with me. I'm driving, I'm eating, I'm talking, I'm working, everywhere I am is the power of the inner child. Exactly what Baha'u'llah says in the hidden word number 15. I made you out of the clay of love. I've given you innate knowledge. You're created noble. Why do you abase yourself? And when the mind realizes that, when we encounter that, we realize what is our true love is. And the next step, which is it takes about 2 sessions, is I call it true freedom. It means that child now has to witness or go and have a visit with the inner parent. And the inner parent has 3 sessions. The first session, which is usually happens in one, when I say 3 sessions, I meant 3 steps. It usually happens within 1 or 2 sessions, but the first one is confrontation. So all those pictures from the childhood has to be cleared. And the second one is when that happens, the second one is rebellious, because there was certain time of our lives that we all went through. We wanted to apply the justice, but we couldn't. We
Mhm.
wanted to do something, but we weren't able to because we didn't have the vocabulary, we didn't have the power, we didn't have the knowledge, but we felt that this is not just. So we take the child, we will visit the parent, we do confront and we do rebel. And at the end, we have the reconciliation, which is the beautiful part. And what that does, it awakens the real mom and dad in me, not the mom and dad I brought in, my real mom and dad. Because the whole society has been created to awaken the good in me. But unfortunately, we don't have a proper society yet. We don't have the good community. So that's why everyone in the world struggles so much to find that true identity. We're all seeking.
That's interesting. So it sounds like if we are unconscious and we haven't gone through some of these steps to awaken and become aware of these processes in our mind, that we have like a mean parent inside of us, or there's like a tension of like being strict but then rebellious at the same
Mhm.
time.
Yes, yes, that's very good. Yeah, and at the same, and also our relationship with our parents is not healthy. Our relationship with our loved ones is not healthy because if we don't go through this process, we think what we have is true.
Mhm.
Like they say, we start labeling outside. We say, "Oh, my husband is like this," or my mom it's like that, or my dad is like that, or my children are like that. Because that's not a true love. That's not a true relationship. That's not a true freedom. But when we go through these steps, we understand what is the true love, and we gain that freedom within oneself. We allow everyone to be themselves. Everyone can be themselves. I'm not here to tell people or judge people to tell who you are. I am who I am. I'm not what I have. And this, when we make that realization that I am who I am, and I love everyone because I have found the true love in me, and
That's
that our relationship changes. My mom could, like, I have clients that they couldn't talk to their parents for a long time, and after a few sessions, they would text me or call me and say, "Oh, Sima, I called my mom, and this mom that I have right now is very different than my mom last year because the mom inside changed. The mother, the true mother, awakened, and that's the true mother that is taking care of the inner child."
wow. Wow. Do you want to speak at all about the Mind Rich and Gems program?
Oh, that was something that I did. Yes, few years. There was a school across where I live. It's a beautiful school. It's elementary school, and but because we're living in a focused neighborhood, school was under a lot of stress too because teachers were trying so hard not to teach, also to discipline. And the children were like, unfortunately, I said, for some circumstances, the children were also under a lot of stress. So, understanding this quotation from Baha'u'llah that it says, regard man as mind rich in gem of estimable value, education can alone cause it to reveal its treasure and enable mankind to benefit therefrom. When we, teachers, myself, and some of the other staff, we sat together and we look at this beautiful quote, we decided, we came up with the amazing project. Every person at school got a hexagon, and in that hexagon that they received, it was a package with a lot of arts and crafts stuff that they would put their name, and then they would learn, share their virtues, and then they put gems on the side, and then connect it to the next one.
Mm.
So we had about 150 of these beautiful hexagon that was covered the whole wall. It was beautiful, and it took a few sessions and consulting and reflecting and going back, but it was beautiful. The outcome was amazing, and it helped the parents, teachers, and principal and children to gain the tools to be able to see each other's in a different way,
Mm.
non-judgmental environment, I would say.
Yeah. It makes me think about how wonderful it'll be, how cool when children grow up with some of the tools of inner peace therapy, because that was part of the inspiration for my children's book, Noble Beings. Like I felt like I grew up and I went through life and I had to like take a step back and relearn a lot of stuff. And I realized like all of this has been in the sacred writings, about generosity and trusting God and knowing we were nobly created. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if rather than us kind of barreling through into adulthood and then having to reconnect with our inner child and inner softness, that
Mhm.
if we just like grew up with these tools. So hopefully as more and more people learn about this and integrate it into themselves, then as a society we can help children just grow up with these and imagine the potential.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, and it works with children. It's so easy because they're so pure.
Right.
And we're, like a first session with children, I've had few children. I even had a 5-year-old that watched a very, very scary movie, and the mom told me because he can't sleep. Within 10 minutes, within 10 minutes, he just looked to close his eyes, looked at the pictures, and the pictures was gone, and that was it.
That's amazing.
It's so easy. It's
That's
so easy to, yeah, it's all about, it's just everything is here.
Yeah. Well, Seema, thank you so
Thank
much for taking some time to share this with us. Is there any last bit that you would like to share? I will put your email address in the show notes so people can get in touch with you if
you.
they would like to learn from you. Is there any last bit you'd like to share with people listening?
And the only thing I would say is keep investigating because we are what we learn throughout the first 15 years of our lives, we call it test program, is not actually belong to us. It belongs to others. But there has to be time that we will actually start thinking and reflecting and investigating the truth by our own mind, by our inner eye, by our inner ear, and getting rid of everything we learn because that doesn't belong to us. That's not ours. We call it test program. So good luck to everyone's investigation. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, and
Love
anything is possible, right?
anything is possible. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Seema.
My pleasure. Bye bye.